Good evening, everybody, and I hope you're all well on this beautiful sunny night. 4 seasons in one day we've had here in Glasgow, and I've got with me tonight Hugh Asher. Hugh, how are you doing? What's the weather like up with you?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm up in rural Aberdeenshire, and it's less windy than it was yesterday, and there's no strange things falling from the sky today. Yesterday was windy more than anything, but bitterly cold.
So you're kind of up where we're going to be this weekend, which is obviously important for us. What are you thinking the weather's going to be like this weekend?
It looks quite good so far. So
Hmm.
4 or 5 days out. Um,
You just never know, really, do you?
you don't,
Simple.
but I can't see it being torrential rain. And if it rains a little bit, well, we'll just play with the rain.
Yeah, you've done that before. You've done
Enjoy
enough
being outside.
festivals now. You're an old hat and you're totally seasoned at how it all works. So, so this is our first. Last year we had two different venues. We had Nairn and we had Aberfeldy, and you managed to find nice places to forest bathe. So I know you've had a bit of a recce up here. What's it looking like?
Yeah, it's looking good. We've got Dunatar Woods, just a little further south from Stonehaven town centre, so not far away. And we'll see how many people want to come on the day, and hopefully we can carpool in a couple of cars and have a drive down there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, as you know, at the festivals, a lot of the stuff, you don't know how the crowd's going to split. There's going to be about 70 or 80 people there. So you're going to have a few, I would say, because, there's only like two things going on at the same time.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think it's important for people to know that are coming that you're probably going to drive to the best spot, aren't you?
yeah, hopefully. So I've had a recce, and there is a good spot within about 5 minutes drive. So
It's not far. Or you could walk, but I mean, I suppose we'll just wait and see what the weather's like, etc., and what the crowd want. But yeah, there's actually a really good car park close to the town hall, so it shouldn't be a big drama for people to find their cars. And what we'll do is we'll put that in the email that goes out to everyone and say, um, you know, to because usually what happens is you'll have two or three people that know they want to do that, and then they can all organise their car share. So that would be great. So we've got a nice place to do it. We've got a beautiful location. Obviously, we are all meeting at 5 o'clock on the Friday to do some contrast bathing. We've got the North Sea. We've got a cold tub. We've got Dave's sauna. We can order fish and chips, and we can have a bit of a jam. And so make sure you've got your drums and whatever else that you have. Um, but let's talk about actual forest bathing for those who have not yet experienced the magic of that. So first of all, tell us how you got into this.
so during the COVID lockdown, really, I discovered almost by myself that going outside and sitting and paying attention to what was going on around me in nature was really beneficial. So it was almost like an intuitive thing. I ended up sitting on a tree stump, and I would just look at the view and then usually close my eyes and listen to the birds and things. And I started looking into it and then discovered that it was an actual thing called Shinrin Yoku in Japan, where it originated, or forest bathing.
Uh-huh.
Shinrin-yoku kind of translates as immersing yourself in the forest atmosphere. So it's a sensory immersion rather than a physical immersion. We're not going sort of wild swimming in a woodland lochen.
Yes.
And I just found it so beneficial, and a kind of practice that really resonated with me, and I liked it so much I became very evangelical about it and started doing workshops online and daily social media posts suggesting what we call nature connection invitations that people could try in their hour out when we were in lockdown. So we call them invitations because they're suggested activities that you can do a bit of, all of, none of, rather than a command. And so that was really how I got into it. And then I became so enthralled with it that I trained as a forest bathing guide and then a nature and forest therapist. And my background's in working with people with drug and alcohol problems. And 2 or 3 years ago, I merged the two of them. And I now, my day job is working as the recovery through nature lead in a residential rehab for people with drug and alcohol problems.
Yes. I mean, that's so powerful, isn't it? And it's so simple. And of course, it's free. I mean, apart from obviously, you have a cost attached to you, but you can teach people how to do it for themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's totally, like teach a person, was it teach a person to...
Aye, how to fish.
The fish thing, yeah. So give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for life. And it's a bit like that. It's a very simple concept, really, to understand. And it's basically just about slowing down physically and mentally and noticing what's going on around you. And this can either be taking it all in at once, or it can be focusing on one sense at a time. So it can be walking slowly in a wood and noticing the different colors, and then pausing, maybe closing your eyes, listening to the sounds of the wood, maybe finding a tree that you like the look of and feeling the texture with your hands, exploring it with your eyes, giving it a hug if that takes your fancy.
Yeah, and I think, we all really kind of know that we can walk through a forest and not smell anything, not notice anything, not see the colours, because we're all so preoccupied, aren't we? I found myself today, I was out with my wee grandson, and it was actually really warm at some points. I was in the park, and I was in the future thinking, trying to figure out what was, and I thought, why? Just for today, everything's perfect. Why are you projecting something? But I mean, at least I recognised that I was doing it. But that's kind of the big problem, isn't it? If you're in the moment, there's no problems because you're not thinking about the past and you're not thinking about the future, and you're just here. And I always tell the story at Aberfeldy, because I'd never done your workshop simply because it's 2 hours. I'm running the festival. I normally just can't take that time off. But in Aberfeldy, I was like, I'm going to do that. And so I had the 2 hours in the forest with you. And then we did the workshop later on, which was beautiful, with the cacao ceremony, etc., in the forest. And when I woke up the next day, I was just like, I could feel this space. And I'm like, oh my God, you know this stuff. But you're not always doing it. That's the thing, isn't it? And see, to be honest, doing it with you, I wouldn't have stayed in the forest that long because, as always, there's something more important over there to be doing. Whereas because you were there guiding us and saying, right, do this. So I'm not saying you were forced to do it, but you were absolutely given the space and the place. Sit there and listen to that water. That was one of the things I think, and you just sat and I mean, I know, reconnect to nature. Wrote a book about it, and still actually found myself going, you're not doing this enough.
Oh, I think definitely one of the advantages of a guided experience like this is that it gives you that extra little bit to give yourself permission to focus on this as being the most important thing. I get that if I go out by myself. I can think of 101 things that maybe I ought to be doing instead of just relaxing and reclining in the woods. But it's one of the reasons I really like taking other people out, because for that period of time, this is my job. This is my role, is to create and share this experience with you.
Yeah, so you get the benefit as well.
Yeah, not quite as much as you do if you're a participant. I think you can never really fully let go of the reins while you're in charge of other people. But yeah, I definitely think that it's a bit like the mental equivalent of turning your computer off and then back on again when it's on a go slow. It does just give you that mental reset.
Yeah, and you are in the forest, regardless, even if your mind's a little bit busy or you're kind of keeping up and, trying to keep people focused, and, but you're still in the forest. You're still having smells, so it's better than not being in the forest, isn't it?
Absolutely. And there's so much evidence that inhaling the forest atmosphere is actually very beneficial to us. So trees give out, they're called volatile chemicals, but volatile doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they evaporate easily, really, called phytoncides and terpenes. And the evidence is that inhaling these is good for our immunity. It relaxes us. The smell of pine that we get in a pine forest is we are smelling these chemicals. So it's one of the reasons why forest bathing might differ from mindful activities in other places. We get this slight extra bonus, the sprinkles on top of the ice cream of inhaling this air and these chemicals that are naturally produced and very good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I was watching I've been doing this breathwork course and fascia course, and she's basically got the luxury of having them doing it all in a forest. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's absolutely, but obviously she doesn't have the midges, the rain, the cold. She's in a place where you can get people out, get their bare feet on the ground, and we just don't always, depending on the time of year, well, actually, either in the winter it's too cold. There's that kind of the fall season and the spring season where before the midges come out. But and obviously when we do the festivals, we absolutely actively want to enhance the experience by making sure you can enjoy your time without getting eaten alive, midges. it's something.
I was going to say, in terms of woodlands and forests and breathwork, I absolutely adore doing breathwork lying in a hammock in a wood. Yes. There's not a lot that tops that.
Absolutely not. When we were down in Cretan last week, or 2 weeks ago maybe now, this happened. The sun came out and we were able to lie out in the grass with our yoga mats and we were all just like these wee flowers, like coming to life. It was just incredible how much, and the bird song down there and all the kind of indigenous, trees. It was like, wow, your whole body just goes into this. Even if you don't know exactly what's happening, and of course we kind of know a lot now about the phytoncides and about the nervous system and bird song, etc. But even if you didn't know any of that, it feels good.
Yes.
That's all you need to know. So I'm delighted and very grateful again for your presence, because I think that for me, the forest bathing is just such a gift. And I think I've got a lot of knowledge, but after doing that workshop with you in Aberfeldy, it just kind of expanded my awareness and made me realise you've got the knowledge, but you're not taking the action the way you need to. And I definitely do now think about it differently when I'm in there. And I'm also much more aware about the amount of time that I spend there and the gratitude that I have for that. Because that's another thing, isn't it? I mean, Aberfeldy, we're lucky. We've been, Tarbert's beautiful as well. We're going to be there in 3 weeks. And everywhere we go is beautiful in its own way. But to have that nature you know, a lot of people just never get to tap into that, you know, and to really, you know, encompass the smells and the sounds and just be able to spend that time. So we are very lucky to have that wild medicine right there. So, before we finish, what do you see? You know, because obviously I've done quite a bit of work with in the recovery community, and I think it's not just the recovery community, but in the recovery community particularly, you know, if you don't want to talk about all your stuff, I think that the forest is just such, because you don't need to talk. In fact, you don't talk. You don't talk to anybody. There's no stories. So, do you find that that people really enjoy that process?
Yeah, absolutely. And in many ways, it's a very strange approach to take, because I sometimes call it therapy by stealth. One of
Yeah.
the things that you sort of learn if you train as a nature and forest therapist is that you're not the therapist. Nature is the therapist. So they quite often say your role is as a guide, to open the door and introduce people to nature. And it really is very much like that. It's kind of nature, person, person, nature. Connect the two together and then just stand back and let nature work its magic.
Yes, exactly that. And I think, you know, talk therapies can be very powerful, but now that we're really understanding about the fascia and the flow of energy, and obviously the trees give us that kind of free flow of electrons. There's a real connection to the energy of the planet, and just actually the kind of listening, observing is actually what the body doesn't get enough of. You know, the body will heal itself when we shut up and stop trying to do things. And you know, I mean, I've been guilty of that my whole life. What can I do? Do aerobics, do meditation, do. And we're actually going, no, now that I'm realizing about the fascia, I'm like, oh my God, you've been, no, just don't do anything. Observe, listen, smell, be. And I think that's you know, since I started really going down the rabbit hole with fascia, I've kind of started to understand why all these very, what would used to appear to me as very kind of non-doing things like qigong and tai chi, why they're so powerful. You know, so because that's what the body needs. It needs to be seen, it needs to be heard, it needs to be felt, and without you lifting weights, running through the forest, getting your pulse rate up to whatever, which was really how I did it my whole life. And now I'm like that. Oh, there's a whole other side that helps the body to heal, and that's what forest bathing allows us to do. So yeah, it's so interesting. I suppose that, you know, everything changes, doesn't it? In terms of what you used to think was great, you know, and what's great about forest bathing and qigong and tai chi and meditation is that really, no matter how unwell you are, you can participate, can't you, in it? And that's actually something maybe worth talking about, actually, for people that are listening and are maybe, because it's not about exercise, is it?
No, it's about relaxation, but it can also be really profoundly cathartic. I remember when I first did Wim Hof breathing, in a group at Heal Scotland, and I was in tears at the end of it, and there were emotions coming from I really didn't know where. And I sometimes get this with people when they're forest bathing.
Mhm.
They just break down and cry, but in a releasing kind of way rather than a sad way. And I've come to the conclusion, and I call it my champagne bottle of emotions. And it's that I think we spend such a long time holding our thumb on the cork that keeps our emotions in a bottle. And you need quite profound experiences, and particularly profound experiences in a group, to relax enough, and you take your finger off that cork and the cork comes out, and so do the emotions. So it's something that I've both forest bathing and breath work I found can be hugely emotionally releasing in a very positive way.
Yeah, that is a brilliant analogy. I absolutely agree. It's because I talk about, you're keeping the beach ball under the water, and then it just at some stage it just gets the opportunity. And we always know that, yeah, you might cry, you might laugh, you might have a profound experience of feelings that you've not had ever or for a long, long time. It doesn't matter, but it's always ends up like, wow. Once you've kind of released it. And I know that because when I did that workshop with you, somebody did get emotional. And I can see now, either because you stop and you give the body a chance, or because you breathe and you give the body the chance. And it's all about that, isn't it? It's just giving the body the space to release whatever it is that needs to be released. And nature, we know, holds the space for that. So yeah, no, it's fantastic. And I think we're moving the Ceilidh to the Saturday afternoon at 5:30, because obviously we've been, people can go away and have dinner and then they don't want to come back, which I totally understand, But I think because there's a lot of workshop. If you go to workshops all day, as most people do, there's a lot of energy moving. Of course, you go home and have dinner and you're just like that. So that's why I thought a great way to finish the Saturday is just to do that really kind of energetic dance. It's always so much fun. It's such a laugh, and a great way to, again, move that energy out through the body. So everything that we do it's thought out, in terms of how to help you feel better. So yeah, I'm excited to get up there at the weekend, and hopefully it's not too wet. We'll be at at Dave's sauna on Friday afternoon, and then we'll be in the village hall on Saturday. So I look forward to seeing you then.
I look forward to being there.
And are you coming on Friday? I'll see you on Friday.
No, I'm working Friday night, but I'm there from Saturday morning.
Right, brilliant. How far away are you from Stonehaven anyway?
45 minutes drive, maybe, at the most.
All right, good. Great stuff. Okay, well, thanks a million, and I'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah, take care. See you soon.
Bye.